Hello everyone. Testing? Okay. Hello everyone and welcome. Today we're doing our top 10. In no particular order, we're doing the top 10 evil of the evil, the villainous of the villains, the top 10 uniquely strange evil of evil. How do I put it? I would say evil people that don't fall into genericness that easily, or were unique, or best of all, succeed in their evil plans. Or you could just say the top 10 villains I consider were evil. So anyway, in no real particular order except number 1. Let's kick it off with probably the most generic of them. And that would be the Sinistrals, or the Sentinels, or however you wish to describe them. Some people have said Sinistrals or Sinistrals. But anyway, these 4 demigod creatures, or godlike creatures, are a constant hindrance through the Lufia series. Constantly reappearing, always trying to destroy the world. They are probably the most generic of the villains, but I found them memorable just for how they play all the roles. They fulfill the role of being the annoying villain that constantly hinders you through your progression, the main villain, and, well, they're certainly the most generic out of this time list, to be honest, so. But I always found them memorable, especially since we encounter them in the new games. I mean, the only game they didn't have a role in really was the GBA game, and I haven't personally played or beaten that one yet, but I heard at most there's a small reference to them in that one. But in every other one of the Lufia series, they are a major role in it, including its remake of this very game on the DS. Well, actually, remake would be putting it kindly. Reimaginings, probably a better term. But anywho, in the next spot we have Zero from 9 Hours, 9 Persons, and 9 Doors. That was it, right? Yeah. Got one of them, but it's Hours, Persons, Doors. Some people who've been with my channel for a long time might remember that 9 Persons, 9 Hours, and 9 Doors was something I really liked, and I did a review of it. I remember it very fondly, because it's a very interesting novel game. It is a text novel game. It's a story, that's it. It has a few interactive puzzles, but it's really just a giant story. And that's the whole concept. Basically, if you don't know anything about this game, you play as a character who's stuck on a ship that locked in with the 8 other characters. And basically, you gotta get the hell off the ship because it's going to sink. And this crazy dude named Zero, who's also on the ship, is basically saying if you can't, you're playing the, what was it called, the Norway game, which I believe was a Jordan term, if I remember correctly. I can't know. Oh dear. But anyway, basically, to win is to live, to lose is to die. The goal to find the door that has the number 9. Zero was essentially one of the most evil bastards I ever saw. Understanding the true ending and everything makes Zero all the more memorable as a villain. And even the question of them being a villain can come into question. So next on the list, this is kind of cheating because this has a loose connection to each other, but it would be Drakengard and Neil. Neil, Drakengard 2, and the original Drakengard. Now the reason these 3 are going to be counted as one is obviously these 2 are connected, but why is Neil in this? Neo is a sequel to an alternate ending of the first game. These two games are two alternate timelines of this game. You catching me? So anyway, the creatures, the shades in Neo, are directly related to the grotesque monster that creates the evil godlike monsters that exist in the two Dragon God games. So essentially, they'll all form the same family pool, really. These monstrosities are all born from a horrifying godlike creature that basically was sealed to stop the world from being destroyed, really. That's mainly what the two Dragon God games are all about. But Neo, the Shades have a bigger role in their lives. There was more meaning behind their existence, and they were definitely very tragic when you played the second time through to learn the true double-sided coin of this story. All three games have very strange cast of characters, villains, and that, and their unique characters and that will probably be the thing I always remember about them. But the villains were also just as equally fucking weird. Especially the final boss in this one. So moving along. Who shall we review on the... Oh. I hope you can't see that label. Can you? I don't know. Zoom in. It's Mother, aka Earthbound. Along with Mother 1 on the GBA with 2. Which is this fault. So anyway. Genghis. Who could forget this freaking weird boss? An alien in a urban RPG. And of course, the way it was created. It was based off a tragic event the creator had when walking into a adult movie. He apparently originally thought it was a porn movie. And what he was seeing was a rape scene. But fans who would be curious of the scene that made this very unique boss fight would seek out this movie and find out it wasn't really a rape scene, it was actually just a brutal mortal scene. But either way, it tragically had a psychological effect on the creator, and that gave us this very bizarre boss, Nez. So next, who is next? The next are the 7 heroes. Now, this is probably a set of villains no one really knows about. Romancing Saga 2 for the Super Nintendo. Never came to America, which sucks, when they just poured this damn thing to mobile phones in Japan. But anyway, it is a little difficult to play and understand this game, but a little easier than others because there is a patch you can get to translate the menus, moves, and such, but the general story remains in Japanese when using this patch. So the story has been still kind of vague to Americans. A few individuals have brought light to the story some over the years, though. But overall, it's about the villains are 7 heroes that... They're basically 7 corrupt heroes that basically got wronged by the world they sacrificed their lives to save. So basically, they get sent to hell in some strange experiment. Basically, they become all devilish, evil monstrosities of their former self and come back at the world to destroy the very world they created. In a Generation RPG, which... if you ever heard me talk about Generation games, I always say, there should be more games trying this whole generation concept. Going through multiple generations to defeat these 7 bosses. But these bosses not only were memorable as villains like this, but there were so many different ways to encounter them. Every boss of these 7 heroes has 2 alternate forms. And each varying on who you encounter first and second and third, and you can make such different effects in the end and such. There are so many different forms of the bosses you could experience each playthrough. And they'll always be remembered for that. I've not beat Romancing Saga 2, by the way. It is something I've been thinking about going back to. I only got so far in it, and I never really got to finishing it. So next is another stereotypical girl. But this villain has something in common with Mr. Number 1. This villain succeeded. And yes, when I get to number 1, and before anyone tries to go, oh, Lavos did the same thing, it technically won because Lavos suffers the same problem Gannon did. Link came, stabbed him, and changed the future. And the reason I don't really have Lavos on this is because, why? What's Lavos doing? It's a parasite, yeah, but I mean, why? The motivation, though Gannon's motivation just to be, rule over everything and that is kinda, so, take that as you will. But, Gannon has succeeded multiple times in conquering shit, whether it be avoided by time or just going up to him and slaying him. Gannon's a persistent villain, don't you agree? So going on next. Now, I may not remember how to say his name properly. I believe it was Damone? I can't remember. The figureless, voiceless thing in Shadow Colossus. Guiding you to a goal, and then using you as a tool for its own resurrection. Who saw it coming? Well, it sounds pretty stereotypical on paper, but to be honest, how Shadow Colossus is presented to you, you probably would have to be a little clever to think of it. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I wasn't expecting it to be an evil god creature trying to use me to embed its new body. Yeah, I didn't see that coming. Shadow Colossus, being a very emotional experience, will always remain rememberable. And I always love the Colossus with the big club. Favorite one out of all of them. Next, we got 2 more games to quickly talk about here. But what could they be? Who could be in them? Who are we going to look forward to? Well, some people might think this is an odd choice, but the Shadow Lord from Final Fantasy XI. The Shadow Lord... See, when I was doing this list, I took a paper, wrote down everyone I considered a candidate for this. Then, I went into a battle over each one, and discussing in my mind, and with a friend, about basically who I think, I didn't really get that zoomed in now. Not as much. Actually, I didn't do Shadow Colossus either. There you go, Shadow Colossus. You get a close-up too. You're a good game. Good game. No one needs to see a close-up Zelda. I mean, same logo almost for 5 million years. Okay. Anyway, back to the Shadow Lord. The Shadow Lord, I put on the list because he technically did succeed. You have to know the full story, the full scope of Final Fantasy XI. Its storyline is pretty convoluted. Ever since Wings of Gods wasn't finished, it added a lot of convoluted elements to the story. But the Shadow Lord did technically succeed. And got thwarted and stuff, and there's a lot more behind the scenes. But you gotta basically do a lot of Wings of Gods to understand the meaning behind the choice there. But he's also a continuous villain who appears multiple times. He has to do with multiple storylines. He has his own mini end zone, totally solely based on his hatred for the world. Of course, you're trying to destroy this small end zone to free his soul from evil damnation. But anyway, the Shadow Lord is a very prominent figure in Final Fantasy XI, and I will probably always remember him being that bastard who always thwarted me from getting my Black Mage Artifact hat, or Well Cat, whichever the two it was. I can't remember. I haven't played 11 in a while. You bastard. Okay, so number 1. As I said, none of these except for number 1 are in any particular, because number 1 will always probably remain as one, because he won and went far beyond all the others who've even got close to achieving his victory of evil. Final Fantasy VI, Kefka. No, I don't have the cartridge. Shut up. Kefka is the most evil bastard in the universe. I mean, he's just simple, pure, evil insanity reincarnated as a fucking lunatic. Not only did he succeed, betray his former boss, who was also trying to take over the world, gain magic, all magic, attain godlyhood, and has multiple forms as a final boss, and a kick-ass fucking song, but he also laughs in a hysterical way that's even inside that hysterically insane song of his. Yeah. What more is there to say about Kefka? He's evil, to the core. And sure, maybe his motives ain't as well thought of. I mean, basically, he's insane and he wants to rule everything. Yeah. But I always remember him as kind of a unique figure in ruling everything. Because not only did he attain everything, he ruled everything. He ruled over the world for multiple years. I can't remember how many years, but years passed, and he ruled the fucking world as a god with all the magic of the world. If that ain't evil, aside from going to the point of destroying everything, but I'm talking about intellectual evil here. Destroying everything, unless you're a tragic villain, this seems pointless to me in that aspect. But then again, the 7 heroes want to destroy everything. Who knows? But Kefka, I always love him as one of my most evil of bad guys. It's really, I really did want to put order to all of them. Like, Gagus would definitely be pretty high, too. I mean, come on, evil, weird alien space trippy thing. Oh my goodness. Well, at least for Mother 2. Mother 1's more of a storyboard type battle. But yeah. I mean, really, in all these games, I would recommend them. Especially stuff like 9 Persons, 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors, Neil, Lufia 2, by the way, one of my favorite RPGs ever. But, yes, all delightful. Got any questions? Got any comments? Got any disagreements? Leave a comment. Not long. It's just an opinion. Remember, these are all opinions. These aren't stone and etched, and nobody's holding a shotgun in your head saying that this is the law of top 10 stuff. It's just my opinion. And, I put some thought into it, but I didn't go into insane detail or everything. But, overall, I would say this is probably, some of my favorite bad guys are that. Sure, some might be lame. Some might call me out, like on Drakengard. You calling the cult of the Watchers and the Shades some of the most evil people? What? And actually, technically, I wouldn't say the Shades are evil, by the way. I'd say, overall, everyone's just insane and Neo, but yoink. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the top 10 bad guys that I find memorable. Get 9 out of 9 Persons, 9 Doors, you damn bastards. I mean, come on. This game needs to sell more. Come on. Drew Royal recommended it. Bye-bye. Yes, it's ending this way. Yes, I got my mouse on the floor. Shut up. I don't have great equipment here, you know.